As we all know, we had a solid, we thought at the time, a solid coalition of 10 members of parliament supporting the government. And if one would look at how the government was functioning, we must admit that things were going in the right direction. But unfortunately, because of, and I will say this plainly, again, because of power and because of greed, the DP leader, Sarah Scott, decided to form an allegiance, an alliance with the UP party and, of course, independent, yet to be Channel Brownville. Now, as you can see, not only once, not only twice, but 3 times right now, they have failed to meet the deadline in order to form a new government. What does it tell you? It tells you again, people of St. Martin, that the government that you had in place or have in place now as the interim government is the way place is supposed to be. I find it's unfortunate that the minister or the supposed to be prime minister or the former third of the government, Mr. Franklin Myers, should have retraced his steps before putting his name out there. His leader, Mr. Theo Heiliger, knowing that he would never pass the screening, decided to stay out of the whole thing. But then Mr. Franklin Myers, now what has turned out to be now an embarrassment to his party and to the coalition of 8, which is right now, I would say, weak party, what has taken place. Because fact of the matter is right now, because of this now, days have been changed, and it definitely appears as if the government who they sent home, who basically they can't say exactly why they sent them home, will have to run this country for the next month or 2. And as I said before, are doing a good job. People of St. Martin, many of you said right now you're not going to go and vote. I'm saying this to you. This is proof, because whenever the National Alliance puts a candidate to be a minister, they always pass the screening. So it tells you where you got to vote. If you want a solid, stable government, no more coalition. It is time now to give the government of the people of St. Martin, the National Alliance, all the necessary seats in order to manage this country in your best interest. Well, let me say this. You know, during his let me use this term, farewell speech, the leader made it plain. He said, time will tell. And indeed, time is telling who the true representatives of this country are. And as we can see right now, all the things he said in the past are come to pass. They were saying, yes, he's a weak leader, he's hurting the country, but he was taking decisions on behalf of the people of St. Martin. And right now we are seeing what is transpiring. I am saying to the people of St. Martin, William Marlin was right in the beginning, and he's still right today. And he was not put out. William Marlin on his own decided to submit his resignation because the governor had no such authority. But William, seeing and having the interest of people of St. Martin at his heart, decided, instead of St. Martin going through this kind of embarrassment publicly, which again was imposed by the Dutch because of their own personal agenda, decided to step aside for a while. But I'm reminding you, he's coming back. So people of St. Martin, don't you worry. The right government will be in place once you vote the right place. People of St. Martin, as you know, we are in the Christmas season. And many of us would say we're having a joyous time. But on the other hand, there are still those who are not. Because of what? The passing of Hurricane Irma and Maria. Some people today have lost their homes. Some people today have lost their jobs. And the hardest of all, some people have lost their relatives and their friends. So at this time, I'm asking those of us who fared much better than others during the passing of Hurricanes Irma and Maria to as much as possible support those persons who are going through a very difficult time in whatever way we can, be it support mentally, be it financially, whatever we can to make life for them as bearable as possible. I look at the different organizations that have volunteered and so on, like the Red Cross, the White and Yellow Cross, all of those persons who have done their best in order to make things easier for the people of St. Martin to go through this hard time. And I'm saying right now, what we do today for them will last forever. So I'm saying to you today, as much as you can, help people who are going through very difficult times. And I'm saying to the volunteer group like the Red Cross and the White and Yellow Cross, and even the government departments that have put, or the ministers have put a criteria in place in order for persons to get food vouchers. Please, relax the criteria. Relax the criteria. People need help, people need food, people need assistance. And I think that this is not the time to make the criteria so difficult. Yes, there are those who will abuse the system. Nothing you can do about that because it depends on the person's character, who she or he is. But it should not be that persons who are in dire need suffer because of this. And in closing, I want to say on behalf of my wife and my children, my grandchildren, I wish every one of you a happy new year, and a very, very Merry Christmas. Let me say this in closing also. Remember to put God first in everything you do, because we said in John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave. And I think it's a time for us as a people to give. So put your trust in God, because in him we live, in him we move, in him we have our being, and without him we can do nothing. God bless you. God bless St. Martin. Have a Merry Christmas and a happy, happy New Year.